Hi, I'm presenting over the Warrington bombings. So here's what I will be going over. I'll be going over the background of the Warrington bombings as well as the significance and textual context within the Lieutenant of Inishmore, and as well as showing some maps. So first of all, I wanted to go over the PIRA. So they are the Provisional Irish Republic Army, and they are a branch of the IRA, but they're more violent and dangerous. Their whole idea was to end British rule in Northern Ireland, facilitate Irish reunification, and bring about an independent republic encompassing all of Ireland. They became the most important and dangerous separatist paramilitary group during the 30-year conflict in Northern Ireland. And when the violence ended in the 1990s, the Provisional IRA had killed more than 18,000 people, and that was roughly half of the victims of the entire conflict. The difference between the PIRA and the official IRA is that provisionals advocated violent confrontation, while the official IRA saw its role as purely defensive and pursued a policy of creating a socialist Ireland by largely policy means. So overall, it was more of an aggressive group and violent group, and the Warrington bombings is one of the reasons why. So the Warrington bombings consisted of two different attacks. The first attack happened on February 26 in 1993. This happened after 3 IRA members placed bombs at a gas storage facility on Winwick Road in Warrington, England. And then after they placed the bombs, they were pulled over by a police officer and shot him 3 times in the middle of his questioning. They ended up speeding away, they hijacked a new car, and then got into a high-speed chase. Eventually, Padraig McFarlane and Dennis Kinsella were arrested, and the third member, Michael Timmins, escaped. Then the bombs went off around 4 a.m. that morning, which is roughly about 5 or 6 hours after everything happened with the members. There were no serious injuries, but there was extensive damage. The second attack happened about a month later on March 20th, 1993. Around noon that day, the police got a call of a bomb threat, saying that there were bombs placed outside of a shop on Bridge Street in Warrington. And then about 30 minutes later, 2 bombs went off about a minute apart and 100 yards apart outside shops, and they caused 54 serious injuries and 2 deaths. The first casualty of the boy on the left in the pictures, he was 3 years old. His name was Jonathan Ball, and he died at the scene. And then on the right is 12-year-old Tim Perry, who died on March 25th, 1993, after his life support was taken off because of minimal brain activity. The PIRA issued a statement the following day saying, "Responsibility for the tragic and deeply regrettable death and injuries caused in Warrington yesterday lies squarely at the door of those in the British authorities who deliberately failed to act on precise and adequate warnings." So they basically put the blame off of themselves and put it onto England, even though they called about half an hour before everything happened. So that doesn't really give a lot of time for more safety measures to be put in place. So here are some maps. I have the Northern Ireland to Warrington, so this is about 3 different ways in modern day that you could get there, but as you can see, they would have to take either a boat on 2 ways or they would have to fly over, so that's pretty intense to get over and put some bombs down. And then here's a little close-up of Bridge Street, and it kind of shows you how close it is to like Liverpool and Manchester, as well as Winwick Road. And here is the time difference between Winwick Road and Bridge Street, and as you can see, it's 7 minutes away from each other. It was a 55-minute walk, and so it just kind of shows that they were probably seeking out to cause damage because they were very highly popularized places that had a lot of tourists and people shopping. So some significance through the Lieutenant of Inishmore. It's set in the year 1993, which is when this happened, and through textual context, we can kind of see that there is, it's happening after the Warrington bombings, and the bombings can also be tied into the story because the amount of violence that branches of the IRA acted out on Britain, and this play is very, very violent, so we can kind of see where he was getting the idea. Here are some quotes, and specifically, I want to talk about the one that Pedrick says right up here. One thing about the IRA anyways, as much as I hate the bastards, you've got to hand it to them. They know how to make a decent bomb, and that was on page 14 in scene 2 of my book. It was really interesting to see how he hates them, but was awarding them on their violent tendencies rather than anything else. And so I think that really is telling of how Irish people are portrayed. And then this is my works cited. Thank you guys for watching.